What they do, baby? We back at it again. Episode 3. Got my boy Ramos here with me. You know, got my guest Joe. Joe, say what up to everybody. Introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
Good, y'all. My name's Joe Basilio. What's going on?
Yes, Joe in the fresh Bucks jersey.
The Bucks. Is that a Ray Allen or is that?
Yeah, it's a Ray
34?
Allen.
That 34?
Yeah, the old school one.
Them young folks don't know nothing about that.
I'm young. What you mean?
True. All right, so we got a crazy week of basketball. Obviously, everybody saw James Harden force his way out, and he got to the Nets. So now I got to get everybody's take on the craziness of the effects that you think is going to happen on the league, and if you think the Nets are now a win or bust year. Ray, what's your take on that?
One, I think the East, that makes the East just really strong. I think we looked at it for a while, like the West just super strong and the East just like the weak East. And that's what made LeBron go through it so fast, all that stuff. But I think that makes the East strong. I think, I don't think that necessarily assures them, a championship. Like I want them a championship, but chemistry is a big factor in this, and coach is a big factor in this. Like Steve Kerr got out the way of his superstars that already won, and Steve Nash has to balance the character and the personalities more like Phil Jackson, more right. Like you need a coach with that type of pedigree in order to lead these three to a first win championship.
Right.
And so I think the effects of like regular season, it's going to be a great show to watch. NBA rating's going to be up. But as far as impacting the end goal, like we saw Miami Heat flame out against a seasoned Dallas team. So if that's like the benchmark, I just don't think it guarantees them a championship. Like maybe a finals appearance, right. But barring the Bucks don't make a trade or something. I mean, I'm not saying that because he's wearing a Bucks jersey, but barring the Bucks don't make another trade, I think if they get a key player, like imagine if they flip somebody for Blake Griffin or something. You got Giannis now playing the three. Yeah, Giannis playing the flip Kyrie. That'd be crazy for Drew or something. But
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, not that'd be a low value trade. But yeah, I just think that if barring that happens, the Nets can get to the finals, but championship, nah.
Joe, what'd you think?
I mean, I agree with Ray. I do think like the West is starting to look like the weaker conference now.
It is.
After all this week, like I've just been looking at the standings and, you see teams in places where they're not usually at, and now the East is just looking real tough.
Mm-hmm.
And also, no, I don't think it's a make or break year for the Nets. They still have all their key players still have good contracts left. So I do think if they don't succeed this year, they get pretty far in the playoffs, then they're not going to succeed in the next couple of years. But if their chemistry develops well, they could win a championship next year or the year after that.
Okay. Obviously, I disagree with both of y'all.
What do you think?
This is a bust or win year straight up. It's still Lakers in 5.
For who?
What.
For who? Like you talking about for all of the Nets or like an individual career people?
Or the straight Nets. This isn't a make or break for Kevin Durant.
Okay.
This is a make or break for Kyrie this year right here because
Kyrie for sure, but like James and Kevin, they're still gonna be MVPs next season
regardless.
Yeah, so they're gonna be to have both of them. It's not a Russ thing. They can both shoot from 3.
They can both shoot, but we don't see
Kyrie is the only one that I would say is a make or break season.
Make or break, but with this amount of talent, they should steamroll. Truly, they should steamroll through the East and
regular
still
season.
Have enough time to have rest. You know what I mean?
Nobody's rolling through the East.
No, we'll see tomorrow. Like we'll see
when they play the Bucks tomorrow.
The Bucks is the top of the East to me. Like they're the cream of the crop. They got Giannis, and I haven't seen a healthy KD try to stop a healthy and climbing prime Giannis.
Right.
I just haven't.
KD look nasty right now. He looked like old KD just doing the same stuff. So
he does,
I think,
but he ain't got a shake of Giannis.
KD at the park.
Yeah, facts, right? So if the Nets can somehow keep the chemistry, it's so difficult with their chemistry because last night they looked great with James Harden running the point guard. And that's the crazy part about it because Kyrie is the point guard. You know what I'm saying?
Kyrie's a shooting guard. I think people got that twisted.
He needs the ball, though. That's the thing. He needed the ball.
Yeah, he like, but
Kyrie's a shooting guard.
Yeah, I mean, he's a point guard for sure. But like, if we're talking about like standards and we're looking at assists and we're looking at all that stuff, he's a shooting guard. Like he's
a point guard that shoots.
Yeah, like Steph is a shooting guard. Like Magic, point guard. Russ, point guard. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
But
I see what you're saying.
I would say that I think it's going to be easy because I think Kyrie was ducking the trade. I think Kyrie.
Birthday party a week before the trade.
Like you really needed that. No, Kyrie just was ducking it, and I think that that's because he wants to play with this tandem. He wants to.
Do you think Kyrie knew something was up?
Yes,
I do. Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I feel like you're right. I feel like he really was just dodging the trade. Like
straight up,
like dodging the draft. Like he knew something was going on. He knew Harden was getting chubby over in Houston, so he won.
And the Rockets, if they flipped like Karras, they're gonna flip Kyrie. They're not gonna have 2 point guards. They're gonna flip Kyrie. Nobody's gonna take John Wall, and they're gonna get a haul for that. And Kyrie didn't want that. He didn't want to end up somewhere.
But let me just go off on a tangent real quick. I was reading that they actually had it was gonna go to the Sixers, but they ducked out on the Sixers and went to the Nets. They had Ben Simmons, his agent, had already told him you're going to get traded tomorrow, and reached out to Houston, and they didn't call him back.
I mean that's one that's news to me, but two,
I heard there was a chemistry problem between the GMs in Philly and the GMs.
Of course.
Right.
Daryl Morey just left. They
won't help in that, man.
I'm not gonna say, hey, I'm gonna fire you basically because I'm going in a different direction.
And then
I'm gonna fire you and then give you my superstar from the franchise. Like that's crazy. So yeah, I get it. I get the ducking. It all makes sense. And I think that Harden wanted to go to Brooklyn over 76ers anyways. I don't think he wants to face KD. I would want to team up with KD if I'm an NBA player.
So neither one of you all think this year they have to win. You all think a finals appearance.
If they're facing
Kyrie has to win.
Yeah, if they're facing
if he even decides to play anymore, like we don't even know what's going on with Kyrie, do we?
I agree with
know if he's playing in the Bucks game?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's still questionable because of COVID protocol.
But I agree with that. I say if they face the Lakers, then they have to win.
Lakers in 5.
No, I mean, I don't think so.
If it does come down to Nets, Lakers.
We'll see once the Nets fill out that bench.
They can't. They have no assets to fill out the bench.
You say they can't, but they got 3 superstars and
Joe Harris is
a lot of minimum contracts to give out. I don't care. There's a lot of vet minimums that you're gonna see Isaiah Thomas say, "Please sign me," and you're gonna see him go out for 25.
Yeah, they got Landry Shamet, who is iffy.
Yeah,
but
you got J.R. Smith just sitting over there in the wings, just like, I got 3 championship rings. Like, you got people that just gonna jump on that thing, and you guys gonna be like, "Snap, Brooklyn look crazy now."
Right.
Like I'm just not. I'm gonna look for that, but yeah, I agree with that. But going on to your COVID point and ducking and flipping all that stuff, what did you think about the trade?
The trade to me was a little lopsided. The only team that I actually think kind of came out on top, it's tough to say on top because an MVP team never really, if like you have an MVP caliber player, that team never comes out on top unless they ask for a lot. And they were asking for a lot. They got a hell of a lot of picks. They got Oladipo, who I really, really like. And if he can stay healthy, I actually think him and John Wall is a tangent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a little weak. Like, I mean, I thought Harden brought you that edge. Oladipo, I just see middle of the pack and then maybe less.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But you're never going to get quality for losing it.
I know. So I'm never giving up. 30
points for 3 years in a row. You can't.
That brings me to my point. So anybody else see that Harden was wearing like body pads?
I peeped that. I watched him in the pregame.
That's why in Houston, all his pictures were bloated and huge. And then as soon as he got to the Nets, it was all skinny Harden.
But I think he was on a diet. I think he might have did like a water diet or something because he dropped like 10 pounds, bro.
Yeah, he did remove the heating pad diet.
You're saying he was trying to look chubby on purpose?
Yes, for trade.
That's what I think as well. And that's
this whole Brooklyn super team is all of a sudden getting real skinny.
I mean, how do you get to Brooklyn if you're 2 superstars and you're trying to get one not traded? You go leave and violate protocol and you say, "Hey, I'm fat." Like, and I can only go to one. I can only move to one place. Like that's what.
Barely show up to training camp.
Mm-hmm.
He playing games, averaging 12 points. I'm like,
then drop a 30-point triple double on his opening debut.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? You know what I mean?
It feels good to play with great players. I'm like, wow, shots fired.
Like Christian Wood, pow pow. Yeah. Like I'm just coming for Christian Wood.
Who do you think came out on top on the trade?
Definitely the Nets.
Definitely the Nets.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
They're on a win now. That's what they're doing.
Like he said, like Ray said, I don't think Harden was actually slacking. I feel like he was just, faking it or not faking it, but
just waiting.
I was doing it intentionally.
Trying to set up a super team. Literally, what's going on? I feel like him and KD still communicate. They were teammates on the Thunder, so they probably are.
They
friends.
were even working out in the off season.
They might have came up with a little scheme behind closed doors. Who knows?
Yep. Facts.
I agree.
He probably told Kylie to go be Kylie, and
yep. No, I agree.
Not Kyrie, but Kylie. He said, "Just go act like Kylie."
It was crazy.
All right. So the next one, this is about to be a crazy one. Right. If the Nets do make it to the finals, this will be the second super team that LeBron James has had to face. Now, I still got Michael as my GOAT, but
so who's the first one?
The Warriors.
Okay.
The 73.
You don't think the Spurs were a super team?
No, they were a different breed.
Hold on, Joe. That was bringing me to my point. But finish your question, Lamar, because that's bringing me. I got you. I feel you. Go ahead.
So if he does face them, we'll say they do meet. If he beats them, will that catapult him to
be able to be the GOAT? Right.
Right.
Tell me what you think. I want to hear what Lamar Chambly thinks about this topic that he brought up.
Interesting enough, it's tough because a guy like Kobe Bryant, my backup GOAT, outside of
course, he's in a different stratosphere because RIP, all that stuff. So now you're moving from like, all right, that's a different conversation. So go ahead, GOAT.
If I look outside of that, if LeBron James is somehow able to beat two MVPs, 2 people with rings, 3 people that can drop 30 at a night. If he's able to beat them, Michael would have to take second because it would be damn near impossible to say LeBron James was able to beat. If you want to say the Spurs, 3 super teams, you know what I mean? Like never in life have I watched a person be able to beat some stacked teams. And I never was on the board where people were like, oh, LeBron faced all these superstars. Now the Nets are like, they scary, bro. They straight scary.
Yeah. Man, so I have a bunch of like holes in your argument. So okay. I have one, like still 6 is greater than 5. And still in yet. And I think some of your things are debatable. I don't think that I got to give it to a guy.
If 6 is greater than 5, then Bill Russell's the GOAT.
Yeah, but we're talking about CBA, we're talking about merger. I mean, you guys don't give Wilt Chamberlain his props. So I love Wilt, and then people don't give Wilt his props. So I'll wait till you give Wilt his props, and then we can have that conversation.
Okay.
But I think that a first year super team, we don't expect them to win it all. So I wouldn't give him that caveat on a back-to-back. 2, I think that if that's the case, I think it's up in the air of 73-9. They were the greatest thing because if you don't win, you don't win a ring, you don't mean a thing. So I think that's still up in the air. If they're the greatest team, I think 72-10 are still the greatest team. You know what I mean? So
no, they weren't the greatest team.
Yeah, but super team, even that was before KD, so that's not a super team to me. I think KD was a super team and they blew them out the water. And that so
super team.
And then with that, it's like, then we got to start thinking about where we hold other people. So do we hold the Spurs now greater than everybody because they broke up super teams? Do we hold Kawhi now greater than everybody because he broke up super teams? He broke up LeBron. Do we hold, you know what I mean? So like different now, if you're saying that he's the greatest, now we got to above, like now people leapfrogging Isaiah Thomas off the merits of beating LeBron James. And I don't think that that's valid. I think that there's, too many holes in your argument for that. And I still think 6 is greater than 5.
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I think I'm saying with that because Isaiah Thomas has 2 rings, right? So I'm saying because of the new narrative of LeBron like beating these super teams, now you have people like
almost like LeBron narratives. I get.
Yeah, it would have to be LeBron being the greatest of all time. So that means Harden would have to be like the 3rd greatest, whatever. That means that this guy would have to be the 5th greatest, whatever. And I think that that's not the case in reality. And I think we know it, and I think you know it, and I think you just are acting like that 3 superstars. Everything like chemistry matters. A coach matters. Like filling out your team matters. So just him beating them with none of that and Steve Nash not saying a word don't mean nothing to me.
If they went a back to this, you got to throw in that back to back.
Yeah, 3-peats mean something in the world when somebody did it twice.
But so do 2-peats.
When somebody did it twice. Yeah, he did a 2-peat too, and then did a 3-peat. I'm saying that means something when MJ did it twice.
Right.
So like I don't care about 2-peats. He did a 2-peat and then did a 3-peat. So how many 2-peats does this dude have? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about here? Go ahead, Joe.
Joe, what you think?
MJ's still the GOAT. He's not going to be the GOAT forever.
Who would pass him? Who would pass him?
Even if LeBron wins this season, still not the GOAT.
Okay.
Who would pass MJ?
Honestly, I don't think it'll be LeBron. I think it'll be somebody coming up, or maybe somebody who's not even in the league yet.
Yeah, somebody coming up that's more focused on like, hey, I watched The Last Dance. I'm trying to get 6 rings. You know what I mean? Like a Patrick Mahomes. But I don't think it's anybody in the league.
I mean, I could see someone like Luka doing it, or I'm not saying exactly him. I'm saying someone like him. Like somebody young that's like just already balling out. Even LaMelo. I can see LaMelo going crazy and getting a bunch of rings. You don't know, man. Like basketball for these kids nowadays is like a different breed of kids.
It's completely different. And that's why it's. I don't mean to cut you off, Joe. It's like you said, the narratives from the '90s to now to what 2020s now. You see what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna have a different narrative. And that's why I think it should be eras of GOATness, almost greatness. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like,
I agree.
Just like the NFL. You know what I mean? Like you got Tom Brady as the GOAT, but Jerry West is equally the GOAT. I mean, not Jerry West.
It's like Jerry
Rice. Jerry Rice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Pat Mahomes, obviously, we know he buried it.
But no, that's different positions though, because if you go to quarterback, then people start arguing like they do basketball. You know what I mean?
And that's why I think it's tough, you know what I mean? But back to me, I think if LeBron James is able to beat, this is if the Nets get there, you know what I mean? If the Nets don't get there and say they play the Bucks, you know what I mean? He does have 5 rings. I don't think that makes him the GOAT. I think that keeps him complacent right under Michael. But if he plays the Nets and beats the Nets, Lakers in 5, he's right there, saying, hey, Mike, it's me, Bron.
Yeah, I think if he got 5, of course, he would be in a conversation.
Because he got like every playoff record. I mean, he got like every playoff stat.
But I think that just makes you, a decorated Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and MJ's still the GOAT. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just still don't think that. I think if everything goes,
I think Lamar just wants a Laker to be the GOAT.
For sure, while they're wearing the jersey. But he got Kareem, but he just went on live to see it, so that ain't good enough for him.
Right. All right, so crazy thing, we're going to switch this up. So this is going to be the segment of knee-jerk responses. Mm-hmm. So the first knee-jerk response is, and we were rapping about this earlier, how did Adam Silver allow this trade to go through knowing that LeVert failed his medical? How is that even possible that he failed the medical, but he was still able to get traded to?
I think, no, I think the bigger question would be like, how is nobody covering that? Like, how is that not a bigger story? Like, when I read that, I was like, wait. So, because the holdup was James Harden's physical. He got cleared, and we didn't know if he was going to play because we were like, wait, everybody else has to be cleared.
He wasn't going to play.
Yeah, they said everybody else has to be cleared in the trade before. And so, to me, that's like, okay, there's a holdup because usually you just say, whatever. So, Karis LeVert has maybe kidney issues. I don't know, like in particular. So, by league standards and league rules, you can void a trade.
Should have been nixed.
And if I'm the Indiana Pacers or the Rockets,
nixing that.
I'm like, nah, give me Ben Simmons. What are you talking about? I'm not flipping this. So for me, that just means that Adam Silver's a low-key G, and they must have paid the Indiana Pacers a hefty franchise fine. Like,
you get a car.
Yeah, something happened, because that's crazy to me.
Joe, what's your take on it? Them allowing that trade to go through, knowing that LeVert had kidney issues.
I think LeVert is probably going to get through whatever medical problems he's going through. So
you think they're minor? That's why it was okay.
Yeah. So I think the league probably understands that LeVert's a hooper. He's going to be all right in the long run. So why not let it go through?
So maybe Indiana doesn't want to avoid the trade. Maybe they're like, Oladipo is going to walk anyways.
That's what a little bit of it as well. They knew they weren't, as much as Oladipo say he loved Indiana.
Yeah.
Nobody really loves Indiana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially when
same thing with Giannis and the Bucks. He says so much he loves the Bucks, but I'm sure if he gets offered a nice trade to go to a nice team, he's not going to say no.
Right.
Yeah. I think 2 more seasons.
Nobody wants to stay in a small market.
Yeah, if they fan out in 2 seasons, he still got that $200 million in the bank. He could go somewhere else.
Because I know it's crazy. You know, I know Giannis is probably like, damn, I just re-upped all this money to stay here, and then the Nets go pull this off, because now the Bucks don't look like a threat. You know what I mean? Like, I like the Bucks a lot, but they just don't look like a threat.
I didn't think that Drew Holiday trade was that good anyways. I thought flipping it for that many picks is crazy to me. In this type of league, if you look down, if you waited 10 games into the season, you could have got James Harden. Like, I
know, ain't that wicked? They could have flipped. They could have done this exact same, gave up all their picks and got him. But that's on that. So the next knee-jerk question is, what should the league, or I guess the Nets, do about Kyrie Irving and his current mishaps of not returning phone calls from the owner, from Steve Nash, and just kind of like doing, I've never in my life watched somebody get paid $25 million a year to just not ball. And I don't, if he got mental issues or things like that,
for sure,
then he needs to seek help. But for him to just not play a game and he only get fined $50K, I find something wrong with that. Joe, what's your take on that?
Well, I've seen interviews in the past, and I'm pretty sure that Kyrie actually does have mental health issues with regarding depression and anxiety and so on and so forth. So, if that really is what's keeping him away from the game, so be it. Just don't let him collect his money or even if that's the reason he's out, he should be communicating with the
communication.
But if he's not, then just don't give him his check.
And that's my issue, Ray. I'm gonna let you get on this, but that's my issue as well. You gotta take these game checks, all of them. Because when you allow a player to get, and I'm for the player. I'm not saying I'm for the owner, but when you allow the player to just say, hey, turn my phone on silent, do not disturb. You're gonna give me $50,000 tonight.
Yeah. No, so to go back with the original question of what should the league do, I think the league is already doing it. I think they are docking him that 5-game pay. They said that he is losing, I think, what is it, like $500,000, just like $400,000. Yeah. And that's going to wake up anybody that's a millionaire. I don't care who you are. If I'm losing $500,000, that's his game checks. So I think they're doing that. And I think that in retrospect, it was just a trade dodge. I think that we're going to look at it in the scope, and he's going to come back and join. You saw Harden come back, shaved off the pounds, and dropped a 30-point triple-double. Kyrie's going to come back, be quiet, do interviews, and then this narrative is going to be gone. I think it was as simple as and I think he has been communicating with the owners and the coach. It's been the bare minimum, but it's as much as anybody else would be communicating with their boss when they wanted to get away. Like, if I left my job today,
you're fired.
Me? No. That's what I'm saying. Different jobs and different things with different, it depends on your talent and whatever. You can leave your job today, have a good reason, be unclear, whatever, and then they need Kyrie. You know what I mean? They need to flip him for something or whatever. And Stephen A is being ridiculous. He needs to retire right now. The only reason why that's in his idea is because Kyrie said he wanted to retire when he was young. So don't use my words and twist it. If I'm Kyrie Irving, shut up and get off of that. Like, just because I'm ducking my boss and I know they need me and I know the leverage I have. Hey,
got a lot of leverage.
LeBron left in the middle of a season and went to Miami and got shot up and came back. And that was not a big headline story. It wasn't. He was in Cleveland. It happened for like a week and a half. And I was like, yo, where is LeBron? They were like, vacation. I was like, mid-season? Came back playing like MVP. So it's just like, okay, we've seen people with leverage and we've seen them bury the story. The media don't like Kyrie. And
the media hates Kyrie.
Yeah, and somebody showed the video of him doing it. Like, we know what it is. But also, Kyrie don't like the media. And neither does Kevin Durant. And that's why Kevin Durant didn't answer any of Charles Barkley's questions. That's why, like, they're going to be a different breed of superstars when they come back. They're not going to talk to the media. They're going to be just in inward circle, and whatever's going to get out, it's going to be false narratives. Like, we
Created
never know.
narratives, yes.
Yeah. Like, they're going to say in their camp, they know where Kyrie was. They know what he was doing. Right. They know how he was ducking. KD probably knows he was ducking.
I think they're going to be the new bad boys of the league.
I agree with that. I think nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know until like a doc comes out what's happening, because they're going to keep everything. So they're not going to be like LeBron, and you know what I mean?
And let everything be known, and always on you.
It's not going to be that.
That's a good take, Joe. I like that. They could be the new age, obviously not the bad boy Pistons, but they could be the bad boys, the rebellious.
Man, if they only
that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, they're going to be the dark horse of the league.
If they only signed Serge Ibaka, boy, I'd have been.
Now, if they could get DeAndre Jordan to average 10 points and make a free throw, they would.
No.
They would be.
Can you just tell me what the Cavs are doing? Why do they have 5 centers?
They like that.
Trade
they
value.
like that. Trade. They get them and then they trade them and they get.
Drummond, Allen, McGee, like, bro, like,
strictly trade value. That's all that is.
Give them a break. Okay, cool.
All right. So our next one is the MLK games tomorrow. We got 2 great games, 2 marquee games. We got the Lakers and the Warriors, and we got the Bucks and the Nets. So first, we'll talk about the Lakers. We balling out of control right now.
You guys are. I mean, nobody's watching and nobody's covering it, but you guys are doing it.
They're not really covering. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's kind of going on. They're kind of covering the sour topics, but
football season, all that stuff.
Football season. But chemistry has looked very good. They got everything going. Montrezl playing good. Schroeder's actually playing very, very good. And AD is looking like defensive player of the year. I just want to throw that out there.
Montrez is playing like an animal.
Yeah. He's
the best I've ever seen him, honestly.
Motivated. That's all it is, bro. It's straight motivation. You know what I mean? And going off of the Clippers of a failed year to now seeing his surroundings, like, whoa, they actually want to win here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. But my thing is the playoffs. It's not regular season.
Right.
I think those young legs got him. Schroeder, Harrell. But
remember, it's only 72 games. It's a shortened season.
But playoffs is the mental for me. They've never been that far. Mental. So once they get to the Western Conference, bye-bye defense.
So what y'all think is in regards to the game tomorrow? Do you think the Lakers will blow out the Warriors, or do you think Steph will put on a show? I take that, but let me scratch that. Steph will put on a show.
Steph's gonna ball out because Steph balls out.
Right. But is it a blowout?
Draymond's gonna sell out because Draymond sells out, and I think it will be a blowout. I think Steph will still get his points, but.
I wouldn't say it's a blowout, man. I think we're looking at
aren't what they used to be. That's all.
Yeah, no, they're not. But I think we're looking at a close game. I think we're looking at a motivated.
Really?
How close? Are you saying close like 10 points, or are you saying close like 5?
I'm saying close like down to the wire. Like Steph.
I'll give you close like 15.
Yeah, I'm going close to like 10. When it's 0-0.
We got to have a segment on bad take so I can walk back my bad take from week before. But I'm gonna say it's close. It's down to the wire. I'm gonna say Steph wakes up for this game. He knows he's going against Bron and AD. And I'm gonna say 3-point shooting is too much for them. They ain't got that on their squad. Not like Curry. So
whose 3-point shooting you think is gonna be nice?
Curry's.
Oh, Curry.
Who else on the Warriors is shooting threes, though?
Oh, it don't matter because the Lakers are going to go shot for shot and they're going to be missing and they're going to lose that mental.
So you think
you won't see logo LeBron, you won't see logo LeBron tomorrow. Let me put it that way.
LeBron dropping 30 and 15 tomorrow.
Are you going to see turnaround no look LeBron tomorrow?
No. because
you're going to see AD eat them up, though. He's going to eat up Wiseman. He's going to put Wiseman in foul trouble, probably in the second quarter. Trying to guard that man.
I mean, we'll see what Wiseman's made of, but I think AD is going to play down to the level of Wiseman. I mean, I don't think that AD is not going to wake up for this game. I think Curry is.
Joe, let me just throw this out here.
I think AD's got something to prove. I think he's going to show. Wiseman's a youngster. He's just first year in the league. He's going to try to show him like, hey, welcome to the league. You know what I mean?
This may be his.
We will see, but we know by history that he usually just duels out with them. Karl Anthony Towns and AD. First year, second year, they're just both dropping 35 and 15. It's not like he's shutting nobody down. It's like, hey, bro, just put up your points too, and we'll see if we can go head to head. AD's not that guy. Like, that's not what.
I just want to throw out that Joe. He hates on AD. I don't know.
Yo, I'm in LA. I just want AD to have that dog, bro. What I'm saying is, I think that AD is just not going to show up as big as he can show up, and he usually would show up if he was like waking up for a game. And I think Steph is just going to actually show up for this game. I think that he's in MVP form, and I think that didn't he make it a close game against the Clippers, or maybe took that game? There was some close game.
He took that game.
Yeah, there was a game.
That's the Clippers, though. We're not the Clippers, bro. That's great value.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Because I think that this is an example.
Those are the great value Lakers for sure.
They are for sure. I think that this is an example of what maybe a playoff seeding will look like if they're going against like a seventh or, hopefully Golden State finishes in the middle of the pack so they don't see Golden State. But if they see Golden State, I think that Steph could be some trouble.
Okay, Joe. So you got the Lakers or you got the Warriors?
I got the Lakers, but I don't like the spread, so I probably wouldn't bet that game.
Okay. So Joe, he works in a casino, if you all don't know. He's like a guru when it comes to sports betting. So tell the people what you think their options would be. Take the Lakers on the spread or take the Warriors on the spread?
Avoid the game in general, because Curry could snap off at any moment. He could snap off before He could mess around and win the game.
He could snap off with no result, though, too. He could go off with 45.
True. He could go off and have no help and still get blown out. Yeah. Still get smoked, But what's the over-under on that game? Do you know?
When I looked earlier, I think it was like 223.
Okay, I would stick to the over-under and probably bet the over, honestly. I would avoid the spread on that game in general.
Definitely. Okay, so the second marquee game, I mean, there's plenty of marquee games, but this is the big game.
The MLK
Bucks versus the Nets. Right now, they got the Bucks favored by 2, which is outlandish. Joe, start us off with that Bucks. I see you puffing up the chest a little bit. You think the Bucks going to win tomorrow, and tell me why.
I do think the Bucks will win tomorrow, but I think the better bet is Nets money line. If they're giving the favorite to the Bucks, money line the Nets, because you got a good clean chance to go positive, win some money with 2 solid players on the Nets right now, Harden and KD. So
that's facts.
So how can the Bucks win tomorrow?
Giannis just has to go off and do what he does. That's about it. And Chris Middleton's got to make 3 threes. Chris Middleton makes 3 threes, they win.
But okay, I'm gonna remember that. All right, Chris Middleton
3 threes. Let's go say 9 points.
Also, I think Giannis,
9 points. That's all he needs is 9 points.
Giannis is looking at a long night, bro. I'm looking at 45 and 15 that he got to drop to win.
I know he's gonna get tired tomorrow for sure.
So I mean, I take my mind wants to say the Bucks, but my heart is just saying like the Nets are gonna pull it out. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like my heart's saying the Bucks because I'm a Bucks fan, but my mind is saying the Nets.
Yeah, I think the Nets are gonna pull it out, bro. I think Harden's second game. I think KD, they're trying to establish something, a different narrative. Like I feel like it's gonna be different. And so I'm gonna take the Nets, but I'm gonna say that Giannis still has a big night, But that free throw line, this dude's having a worse year than Shaq.
No, so I got the Nets actually blowing them out straight up. I got them taking off.
Good gosh!
In the second quarter,
the Bucks play defense, right?
I do, but they're struggling, and they just let Luka drop 30 in the first quarter.
They didn't let Luka do anything.
The Bucks are slacking this year. I'll say that.
But I think they'll wake up
we
for this.
Don't look like the Bucks that we've been the past 2 years.
Yes, and they're on a 4-game win streak. Whoop-de-doo.
But Giannis wakes up for Harden, guys. Come on, history.
True, very true. I don't think they like each other.
Yeah, they wake up for each other. Like, that's gonna happen.
So I got the Nets blowing them out, mainly because of the bad defense that it comes to the Bucks when they got to play a primetime superstar. And Giannis is going to have his hands full. Right now, KD is doing that Rocky Rock, bop and bop, pull up mid range, and it's incredible to watch.
I think we haven't seen KD versus Giannis yet.
No, and it's going to be really, fresh and exciting.
Really regularly, like MVP Giannis, like in a couple of years,
possibly MVP KD.
Yeah, possibly. And we'll see. This game will be the measurement for that. And then also Harden and Giannis, like that feud. I just think that Giannis is gonna wake up for that game. I
forgot they don't like each other. Yes.
Yeah. So he gonna wake up for that game. So I think that Giannis is gonna try to put the team on his back, and we'll see if Drew and Chris Middleton step up, and Brook Lopez has a couple blocks. We'll see what happens.
So I like your Chris Middleton playing. He's gonna have to have more than 9 points though. Straight up, he's gonna have 25.
Yeah, more than 9 points. But I'm saying if he makes 3 threes, the Bucks are gonna win the game.
Yeah. He got to score 25 because this middle of the pack. The only way the Bucks actually become a superior team is Chris Middleton takes a step up. Him making the All-Star team.
He's not a superstar, bro. He is what he is. He's an All-Star.
He's an All-Star, but he's gonna have to step up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to trade him. Trade that All-Star, flip him. I'd have flipped that. Yeah, I'd have flipped him. But yeah, I mean, because Chris is good, but like he's just.
Kyrie.
Yeah, I would have rather have kept Brogdon, and I know that's revisionist history, but Brogdon over Chris Middleton, I would have rather have kept. So.
Thanks. All right, so our last topic for tonight, this is about to be a good one. Is the LeBron effect a real deal thing?
When it comes to coaching, yes, because I'm coming from, and this was like an off-camera, off-mic conversation of, hey, I think Frank Vogel don't do anything, and I think that we saw LeBron pretty much coached all of the Cavs in his last seasons with Tyronn Lue.
Yes.
We saw what he did with Luke Walton, and he just didn't have the pieces. We saw him BG
coach.
Yeah, neither is Frank. We saw what Frank did in the Pacers. He hasn't done anything. You can say Eastern Conference
defense.
You can say yes, defense.
They were top three.
Defense, I will say he but he always had a like nice defensive big. So with that, this is the bailout. He wasn't in top 3. I mean, I was going to say first year with LeBron, but he wasn't the coach. So here's the thing: he always has a big bailout, and this one is AD. The last one was Hibbert and Paul George. You add them together with little David West, you got your defensive team. You got AD, you got your defensive team. I think that this is LeBron being the coach, and I think that we don't give him credit for saying that he can coach a dummy. He don't need anybody. Like, move him over. Yeah, move him over and put Jason Kidd in the seat. It'll be the same results. Like, and I almost would rather have Jason Kidd in the seat because I know he's going to call the right timeouts.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Or spill a drink. So, yeah.
Is the LeBron effect a real deal?
If LeBron's on your team, you're having a good season coaching.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Unless your name is Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra is the only good coach LeBron's ever had.
And guess what happened with that? LeBron tried to get him out of here. Why did he try to get him out of here? Because he said, this dude's trying to coach me. Like, yo, Pat, get him out of here. I'm used to being the coach. And guess what? Nobody else he tried to get out of here. Why? Because they're not the coach. I see Frank Vogel's speeches. I'm like, if he don't get his tail up off my screen, I'm in LA. Nobody shows Vogel no respect. Like, he ain't Phil Jackson. This dude ain't even Jason Kidd. I'd rather Jason Kidd be the head coach, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Oh, I've been waiting for this. So the LeBron effect is kind of like Lake effect. So when you get close,
don't be hypocritical now. Don't be hypocritical because he's on your team now. So you're gonna discount everything he did before and only count the things on Lake New Jersey. All right.
So it's like the lake effect. Like when you get closer to the lake, it's more snow. It's colder over there. But when you actually get down to it, you still have to coach. And this year and last year, I will say I'm not going to act like he is calling all these amazing plays, but
I just want to say,
yes, please.
Lamar didn't know nothing about lake effect when he moved to Central New York.
thank you for that. Because we know he capping right now, and then we also.
I grew up with the lake effect. Like, that's my topic. That's not your topic.
I know he's capping because I saw Frank Vogel call.
Hold on, you didn't even let me go.
Yeah. Wait, let him finish.
I saw Frank Vogel call a play for LeBron James, and LeBron James didn't move. So what did Rondo do?
You're talking about where Rondo made the play.
Yes.
That's
and so what?
Provision.
Oh yeah, that's great coaching, bro.
That's
from who? LeBron, not Vogel. LeBron said, "I ain't doing that." Like I'm sick of this false narratives. Keep going. Finish it.
Okay, so Frank Vogel is a great defensive-minded coach. I will straight up say that. He does run good defensive set. He does put the right pieces, the right plays in the right positions to shine. As far as offensive,
I don't think so. I mean, not offensively, defensively. I think like Wes Matthews is shitting on the bench. I think he could do a better job with his rotation than he's doing right now. And I think he's just not. And I think that's little of the Laker Nation pressure. That's not really on his coaching skills, but that values into your backbone of that. Like, I think you add LeBron, you add Laker Nation saying, I want to see Caruso and Horton. Wes Matthews is on the bench when he can shoot a three. So it's just like,
right. I totally agree with that.
I can't disagree with it. And I like Wes Matthews a lot. We know he can shoot a three ball. We know he can play defense. Is he the defender he used to be? No.
Neither is LeBron.
And look, THT is going to be a problem. He's a young stud who can definitely shine. Caruso, I love the Caruso straight up, but he doesn't score. You know what I mean? But he does play intensity defense. He still gets scored on because we ain't going to act like Dame and CJ didn't kill his ass last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Caruso's a hustle player.
He's a straight hustle player, and that's why
he's out there to get that steal, poke the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's out there to just mess with the other team.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So that's why
he's a dog. He's a big dog.
So that's why I love Frank, because it's tough. It's tough being, like you said, I'm not going to disagree. LeBron does try to coach the teams, but LeBron in his older years, he's taking a seat back because I think that's what you think.
LeBron in his older years is getting that confidence I wish he had in his younger years. Just that veteran confidence, that dog. I know I can come out here. I'm gonna turn around and make he didn't have this dog confidence.
Oh no, he didn't have that 4 years ago.
Yeah, so you're telling me that now he gonna let a coach him?
A little bit, because he was becoming a coach killer. He was
never a coach killer. He was. He was always the coach. Is what I'm telling you. he was always besides Miami, because you saw how that played out the first year. You know what I mean? That's how it played out the first year.
He tried to kill Spo. He couldn't kill.
He did try to kill Spo.
He couldn't.
And Riley said no.
And so you want to know why he's not the coach killer anymore? Because he's the coach. Like Frank Vogel, if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be somebody else. Like Tyronn Lue was asking for too much, and they knew he wasn't going to be the coach. They said, "You're not the coach. LeBron's the coach. Let me get Frank Vogel."
Right. Frank was our last option. Yes, but we're not going to act like our other coaches aren't.
Lamar, we could put you in the chair as head coach.
You'd be coach of the year,
and you'd be doing just fine. Rookie coach of the year. Rookie coach of the year.
People be like, "Man, Lamar look like he doing it."
Yeah.
That's it. He got the number one in the conference. Look at the Western like right now off of that. And that's how you are on Frank Vogel. So I
got to go, y'all. Let me go apply.
I know, right? Good guys.
Lakers.com.
That's crazy. I do get that, but it is what it is. He used to be, we kind of on the same, we kind of going in circles. I get you. So this was episode 3. This was a fire episode. Yeah, I want to thank Joe for coming out.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Joe, I want to just randomly give us who you think is going to win that Mahomie game versus the Bills, and who you would take in that Bills game, and who you would take in the Tampa Bay game next week.
Tampa Bay against Packers, right?
Packers. All right. If Mahomes plays, Chiefs got it.
Okay.
Sure. Buccaneers, Green Bay. Tom Brady, he might come out of nowhere and hit you with his 7-3 this year.
I know. Who knows? It's wicked, right?
Who knows? Yeah. But I like Green Bay. I'm Rodgers. So yeah, I got Green Bay on that one.
Double check.
That discount double check all the way.
Man, I think Rodgers needs this.
He does need this.
He does need it. Yeah,
he does need it.
It's been like a decade since he won, and he's been a great one of the top tier quarterbacks for a decade. So I want to go. I just feel like Tom Brady, if it's a high scoring game and Tom Brady is just accurate, it's going to be a high scoring game. And then maybe, Aaron Rodgers could luck out. But for some reason, I'm like, the person who I think is going to throw the most interceptions would be Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady to me. Just off of inclination. I know Aaron Rodgers have been having a great year. So we just got to see how accurate he is. But I'm going to go Green Bay.
Green Bay. So we got two Green Bay. I'm probably going to go Green Bay as well. After watching,
Patrick Mahomes playing, so that's it. Chiefs.
Yeah. So
now I do have to say one thing. I gotta say that I kind of feel bad about this take because as a New Yorker, I feel like I should be pulling for the Bills on this one.
That's what I feel you, bro.
And credits to Josh Allen and the Bills. Like they're having a wonderful season, and they had a good season last year too, but they just choked. But this year, like, this is good for them. Like, I'm glad they made it this far, but I don't think they're getting any farther. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take the Bills.
Really?
Because after seeing, Mahomes, he went out tonight, but prior to him going out, that foot looked a little
shit. It was bothering him for sure, but he still got that.
If Mahomes doesn't play, okay, we got Bills in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's a game.
Yeah. Oh, big facts. Big facts. You know what I mean? But so that's it. That's episode 3. I appreciate you, Joe, coming out, hanging out with us.
Thanks, Joe.
Hey, if y'all want to do it again sometime, let me know.
Yes, for sure.
I got you.
Thank y'all. It's the Big Dawg Talk. We out.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.